Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Welcome back to the... I keep calling it a channel because that's the lingo for YouTube, but a stream is technically different, but, like, it's still the same thing, so, like, you know what I mean. Anyway. this side. Alright, there we go. Now it's off. Yeah, there we go. Anyway. So, welcome back. The video that was supposed to be posted for tomorrow, like today for patrons and Twitch subs, but tomorrow for general YouTube is probably gonna be Wednesday because the computer machine decided to not record one of the reviews, which was fun. So we've got a review for these two, but yeah, not the third one. And being that was the first one introduced, kind of need to re-record that. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So we've got this thing. Oh man, seriously, like, honestly, I just can't with this anymore. Oh yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be in the video, obviously, because it's one of the ones being reviewed. But like, seriously, look at this. I can't. Is it even visible? Can you see it? Is it in shadow? Like, look at that. It's all like the whole thing is botanical illustrations that are like very hyper realistic, and they all have like the labels on them and stuff, and it's just super cool. And like that's what the inside pages look like and stuff. And yeah, so this right here, honestly, the only issue that I have with this thing is the weird formatting, because yeah. But it's super cool. So yeah, if any of y'all haven't heard about it, whatnot, this is the one that we are eviscerating today. And then next week we're going to be going through the first section of braiding sweetgrass. We'll see how it works, but so far it's going to be one section per week. So next week would be planting sweetgrass, so it'd be pages to page 48, basically. So the first 48 pages in there. So like a complete aside, really, like I only have one other set of books that has this kind of cover, where it's like kind of textured. It almost feels like watercolor paper, but I really like it. I do. It's a thing. And oddly, compared to this one, it's almost like this one is like, I don't know, the commercial consumerist version because it's like all smooth and shiny, versus this, it's like handcrafted because it feels like it's watercolor paper. Which might be part of why I like that type of cover, I don't know, but the other thing that I have that's like that is a manga done in watercolors, so there we go. Yeah, if the audio gets weird, let me know. I have it up to like full reception on OBS, and it's like right here, so let me know how clear it is. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Um like just just as a thing, right? I don't think I've been this annoyed at 87 pages in ever, really. Okay. It's like, what? Oh, oh. Which I will say, is a feat. Like, there's, oh god. It takes some skill to make me that annoyed at a book that's dealing with subject matter that I'm actually legitimately interested in. So, make of that what you will. Uh, Alright, okay. I will try to keep that in mind. But yeah, no, I'm glad that it's clear and actually audible. Alright. It's like, so there's that. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, random aside thing too, right? I was going through some of the stuff because I have some slight access to my bookcase over there. So like I was able to nab this guy off. So that's gonna be read at some point too. Um but found this one on there. Fox and the Peach, that I'd intended to read, like, when was this one? I think this one was published in 2010, cover art 11. So yeah, I would have got this in 2011, 2012, something like that. Because, oh, it's got some Japanese themes and stuff. Apparently, this is another example of, like, white dude who has some experience with Japanese culture, but not like a lot repurposing things. So I don't know. Might end up reading that, might not. Who knows? But it's always fun when you find random stuff in there. Anyway, so how is everybody doing? Before we dive into the pile of shenanigans that is this, yeah, how are y'all doing? I know I had an interesting weekend of discussion time. It was a fun time. It's just a lot. Okay, what's that? Oh, yay. Okay. That is good. I'm glad that you guys are feeling better. And walks are good. Walks are definitely good. Alright. So. Ooh. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Right? Right there with you on that one. Yeah. Right there with you. Hopefully, tomorrow is a better setup for you guys, though. Yeah. Yay! Yeah, your Bumble friend is adorable. Seriously. Uh, yeah. Alright. So, yeah, we had to clear out some stuff because there was someone coming by to check the heater slash air conditioning because it's getting to the point where, especially if you have MS, you need to like engage the cooling device in SoCal. So there we go. But apparently stuff's alright on that front. So that's something. Okay, one sec. So that. Wow. There we go. Alright. Anyway. Yeah. It's so fun, you know? One sec. The one bit of front floof was bugging me. Alright, there we go. That's a little better. So, I will say, compared to some chapters, there's not all that many tabs, you know. Mostly because I kept, being annoyed with it enough that I was just tired of having to tab the same thing, so there we go. But, or rather, yeah, there's a bit less of a rainbow situation happening up in there. I did not realize they're all different lengths, which is kind of messing with me, but also, I don't care enough to try and fix it. So there we go. Also, apparently, if you get tabs at Daiso, and they're these, after a bit of handling, the colorful part of it starts coming off the plastic, which did not realize, but there's some in here from the first week that are practically fully transparent now. So that happened. Yeah. So, right. Where are my notes? Where to go? Alright. So, first off, we're starting real strong with, like, the plans have been adamant that I come back to Peru, even if I had no real desire to do so, on, like, the first page of the chapter, right? So, like, again, the plants called me because I'm so special, but, like, I don't really want to go, but, like, I have to because it's my destiny. Really, Monica. Uh, 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 and then once again we have the introduction that she's being summoned by the plants, and there's a little bit more with the introduction of Don J, but once again we seem to be entering an ethnography desert. So, yeah, right. Yes, yes. Kappa engaged. Kappa implied. Kappa engaged. Fully. Like, honestly, even though we're not gonna be going through this thing on stream after this week, I'm still gonna try and make up a salt shaker or like a Monica Y thing just to be the stream's like resident like Kappa command. because wow, like some of the stuff that I found that's like such great resources. Like, did they pay you to say that? Were you high? Like, how? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Seriously, like, oh my god, this, oh Monica, why? Why are you like this? Just why? On top of which, right? Um, I'm just gonna say, right? Exactly, exactly. This is a perfect example on how not to ethno. Yeah, ethnography and ethnobotany decided to be one word, and it didn't work. Like, this is a perfect example of how not to do ethnography, not to do ethnobotany, uh, and just generally not how to interact with indigenous communities. Because what the hell is this? No. No. Oh my god. Like, honestly though, it becomes more evident. Uh, yeah, okay. It becomes more evident later, so we'll address it when it's a thing. So there's stuff coming. Uh, but yeah, so we've got Don J, who's the only person that's introduced. So just like, I get it if you're working with a community that is mostly closed to outsiders, but you happen to have special permissions to be in there. So you say that in the text, or at least in a footnote or something, because really, for this chapter, the goddamn footnotes are more interesting and engaging than the actual chapter. Because that actually has information about the culture that they're talking about. There's some ethnographic data in the footnotes, but it's just like it's not in the whole thing. Like, what even is that? Oh yeah, no, it 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 does, it does. It. So we've got the introduction of Don J, who is a Kokoma shaman. Believe that's the pronunciation. Um, and there's a quote in there that's the first thing that Don J told me as we sat down for this meeting at a small cafe was that he had neither the interest nor the intention of teaching Westerners. Like, yes, that's the general expectation when you're working with indigenous communities. Like, seriously. Seriously. Because it's a closed practice. And even if you can talk about certain parts of it, if someone's a Westerner going into an indigenous community, there's a high probability that whatever is shared will be, sold for some kind of monetary gain. Ah! Yeah, so, if you would like, when we get to the point that it's actually relevant, I'll just read out the footnote part for you. It's like, oh my god. Just to give you an idea, there's like a full lack of any kind of ethnographic info for the entire thing, right? That right there above my finger is one footnote talking about cultural relevance of what the note is. Like, seriously, look at that. It's a full half a page. Jesus. So ridiculous. Ah. So yeah, apparently saying, quote, I am here because the plants brought me here. Uh, I need to dream better. Or, no. I need to be a better dreamer is enough to completely negate, any kind of reservations that the guy had, and he showed up the next day to take the author into the jungle with him to presumably teach her about the plants and stuff. Um, how? Yeah, seriously, that's a full Sasquatch note right there. Like, what even is this? I mean, oh jeez, for the chapter that it was talking about the plants talking to each other through the plexiglass or whatever it was that she had set up in that one experiment. That, like, what was it? This whole thing is one footnote. Just like above my fingers, right there, is one footnote. It's like there's more book, like there's more relevant book info in the giant, like, page long footnote section back here than in actually reading any of it. I just, this whole thing is one too. It's like, really? Really? Alright. Going off how the chapter ends, I wonder what Monica would say to the, like, the tendency towards, like, if you're stressed about something, find your zen and just, like, take a breath. Like, really? Right? Right? It's, there's a way to do science and personal reflection in one text. It's not turning the science and the scientific experiments into flights of metaphysics, though. You know? You know? Just like, no. So, I don't know, a couple pages, a page, there we go. A page in, we get the first plant mentioned in the chapter. So it's the Piñon Blanco. J- the Jatropha? Jatropha caras, or the purging nut, because it cleanses one's bowels, made into a drink, concoction, medicine, something. I mean, on a plus, she seems to actually know what's in the thing that she's drinking this time, which is an improvement, I would say, over, uh, what the usual seems to be. Um, Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. The posh rule is very much apt for this. Yeah, it alright. I'm gonna say, right, I get that not everyone has the same experiences. And just because someone has a certain experience does not negate that someone else has an experience that might be different. And throughout the entire world, right, there's extensive examples of communities treating plants as teachers, as uh, knowledgeable ancient spirits. Like, that's fine. And there's some overlap between the channeling and the spirits, and it depends on how you interact with a certain species and stuff. Um, and different people are more or less able to, like, infer information from certain cues and whatever. The only plant human interactions so far in this that actually seem viable as, like, something that's verbatim what happened and not her embellishing it so it sounds like she's having a conversation that's, like, using colloquialisms and stuff, is with the Pinion Blanco and the Mimosa. Because for the Pinion, um, it's not words per se, it's impressions and images and, like, a feeling of something. It's not verbal communication as humans would understand it. It's every other mode of communication. And again, different people experience interactions in different ways, but that's the one that I've got personal experience with. And each time, there's only been a couple of times I've heard it described, but whenever I've heard friends describe something that sounds like what's going on here, that's the that's the description, that's the words that are used to describe their own narratives too. So, something to keep in mind on that one. Um, but then also there's the idea that if some kind of spirit being is trying to interact with you, then they present in a manner that is easily understood using things that you already know. So it it's a whole thing. From Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I'm still salty about the only, like, if we're taking the plants to be characters and the whole story to be a main narrative, so far the only like non-verbal, or rather non-vocal characters have been those two. And in the plant linguistics, shall we say, because the mimosa is not physically able to move aside from the leaves, it's essentially sign language for the plants. So like in that interaction, at least, it would be sign language. So like the one plant that's characterized as essentially having a disability is the one that the author was so surprised could actually learn something. Mm. Anyway, we're on this chapter now. Oh my god. But yeah, no. We just gonna copy that, cause that's a good one. Alright, come on. Thank you for the 100 salt grains, honeycomb. That's much appreciated. The Thank you much. Ah, okay. One sec. I need to. Scroll back up to here. Alright. Thank you much. Appreciate it. Which is weird because I still have no idea how to control it. Like, I mean, I know I made sure to have the Twitch feed muted this time, so that might be part of it. I don't know, but but thank you. It's appreciated. There we go. That one. Okay. Uh. Also, just a thing, right? I might be reading too much into it, but based on how I want to say it's tone deaf and not like intentionally something, but might be reading too much into it. But after the other descriptions that Monica's made and stuff, having her describe Don Jay's childlike delight feels slightly infantilizing, you know? I don't know. It was just something that stuck out a little bit on there. Um, But yeah, so the Pinion Blanco is just the director, shall we say, for the chapter. And then uh that one that is a kind of a drought resistant sort of shrub. Shows her a spiky cannonball looking fruit thing. And Don J gets all excited that knows what that is. So the author is then introduced to, I know I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, so anyone watching after the fact, apologies. Again, it's a thing. So, and then we're introduced to the mighty Ayahuma. Now, this is the point that we have the giant half a page of exposition in the back, so we're gonna get to that in a second. Yeah. So, where is it? That's the question. Also, trying to train plants like Pavlov's dogs, right? I don't know about that. Just as a logistical thing and like everything else that goes along with it. So, alright, here we go. Some actual ethnographic data and stuff. Not data so much as backstory, but you know, take what you can get at this point. Alright, Ayahuma refers here to Corypita guyanensis, a tree native to the tropical forests of northeastern South America. However, Ayahuma is also the name of one of the main protagonists of the Inti Raymi, the Inti Raymi, the Inca Festival of the Sun, which takes place annually toward the end of June in the Andean villages of Peru, Bolivia, Argentina, and Ecuador. The festival is an occasion for celebrating the life-giving power of the sun, as well as giving thanks for the harvest, hence the perfect time for renewing and strengthening the relationship with Pachamama, or Mother Earth. As part of the celebrations, the Ayahuma leads a ritual performance in which a group of dancers go around in circles representing the equinoxes and solstices, while stamping their feet to encourage Mother Earth to be rejuvenated for the new agricultural cycle. The Ayahuma wears a brightly colored hand-knitted mask, which has become an icon of the Andean folklore. A link between the symbolic and the real, interior-exterior. His two-faced mask represents the duality of the world, past and future, day and night, good and bad. The mask also bears 12 horns, representing the 12 months of the year, and other attachments that look like antennas, representing snakes. The Andean, Andean, oh, that's hard to say. Andean symbol of wisdom. When the Spaniards first encountered it during the colonization of South America, they considered the Ayahuma and his mask as a depiction of a demonic character. However, for the indigenous people, the Ayahuma is the materialization of the energies of Pachamama, i.e., the vital life forces found in nature, and hence highly respected. Seriously, just write stuff like that. Oh my god. like, honestly, we're 75 pages in to something that's marketing itself as science, personal discovery, and freaking, like, ethnographic information. And that's one of, like, 3 paragraphs that's actually, like, decent. What? What even is this? No! Oh my god. Ugh. Why? Oh. So, back to the shenanigans happening right here. Oh, man. Right? Right? It would have been so much better. Huh. Okay. So, we're on page 2 of the chapter, and now a word from our sponsors. Water, because, you know, it's important. Oh, man. Like, seriously, when I make a video, this thing is just gonna, I don't know, like 20 minutes of just ranting. I don't know. Ah, Jesus. Uh, oh, God. Seriously. Alright. Oh, God. So stupid. Okay, so again, we've got an example of the plants communicating with human words. In this case, it's the Ayahuma, also called the cannonball tree outside of the Amazon, because apparently, excuse me, not only are there populations of the tree in South America, but they're also in India and other parts of South Asia, Southeast Asia, yeah. And are usually found associated with sacred or religious sites as a protector and have been for thousands of years. So, again, if there's like inference based on certain images that are transmitted or certain like nonverbal discussion, alright, that's fine. But when you have a plant that's being quoted as saying, like an ancient plant spirit that's being quoted as saying, uh, where is it? There we go. The experiment is pretty simple. Train young plants in a maze and give them freedom of choice. But you've got to think peas, not sunflowers. Like, it's one of those that, like, I realize possibility and all of that. And again, different people have different experiences with plants and plant communication and all that. But Okay, so, and then she's trying to use this particular as a follow-up to the mimosa study, because that one, she taught the plants to not react when they were dropped, and now she wants to teach plants to respond with a Pavlovian sort of reaction to a fan, like they would the sun. That's basically the experiment. So for the experiment, it's plywood boxes equipped with time-lapse cameras to record data. But oh yes, it was the first round totally made no sense because it was sunflowers that I was trying to do. So therefore, this makes a lot more sense because it's peas that I'm supposed to use, not sunflowers. Like, if you're trying to work with a plant that has a lot of dexterity, something tells me that, well, sunflowers do turn their heads towards the light source and all that. Peas have, like, vines and stuff, and they're easier to, they move around easier, just a thing, there's that. Okay. Am I over here now? How far am I? Oh, over here. Okay, and then it jumps back to her being in the Amazonian forest. Alright. Now, as someone who has a number of dietary and topical and respiratory, really, just like all of them, allergen triggers, right? I'm just gonna say, there's a quote in here, right? Apparently, these fruits are just about inedible. The pulp is known to cause allergies. Now, that's not how allergies work. Just a thing, right? You might have an allergic response to something. You might have an irritation or a sensitivity to a particular substance. You might have a reaction to something, and then that causes you to have a reaction to something else, but you don't have something that causes allergies. And apparently for this particular thing, it's the where is it? Where's the name? iHuma. Okay. So for iHuma, apparently, you're really not supposed to eat it. So this one stinks real bad, but you're supposed to bathe in it. So that's the context for this thing. Yeah. So there's a description, a very. She just decided to, like, not have ethnographic information in the actual chapter, just, like, chuck that in the footnotes, but have a whole paragraph with graphic detailing about how disgusting the human water that had bits of plant material in it and it was all gloopy was being poured over her. Thank you for the follow, sweet official. Welcome in to the shenanigans. We are currently roasting all of the things in this. So, welcome. Enjoy your stay. Mondays are Botany Book Club, in case that is a thing of interest. Yeah. um, one sec. Cleft lip. It was just surgery, reconstructive, whatever. So, that's all. Not much. But yeah, seriously, like, you're gonna rub this thing all over you. You're gonna let it rot, and it causes freaking reactions and stuff. Exactly. It was blessed by the fairy of feline divinity. Yes, I like that one. I'm gonna use that. Totally. Yeah. Alright. that's that's my new response. Blessings from the cat gods. Yes, yes. I like that. So like I can kind of understand if it's like a cleansing bath situation or if it's like an a, a bathing situation that like you're it helps you get into an altered state of consciousness. But then what was it she wasn't allowed to wash for a week afterwards, like why? So it can absorb fully? Like what does that why? What does that even do? Oh, that's alright. It's just it's one of those times and it's like, right. Complete blank. What was I saying? I don't know. So it's all good. Oh good. And then okay. Where did I put it in here or did I put it in the notes? One sec. Ah, yeah. Alright, there we go. And then and then she goes into like some side discussion about how the plant is telling her to ignore false ideas that are distorting awareness, which I'm gonna just say, right? If you're hallucinating a conversation with a plant, and the plant in your hallucination is then telling you to ignore uh distorted awareness and false information, just I don't know. I don't know about that one. There's a lot to unpack in there. Like it's just like, what are you doing? That's all good. it if it's okay, circling back. If it's just a genuine question like that, then we're good. Um, there have been people who don't just let it lie after, like, hey, so what's up with this? So, but yeah, Sweden, we're good. You're fine. uh, and then, like, right after the whole false ideas thing, she jumps into oh, what is it? Uh, Insanity and madness and stuff, and it's like, this is not the most mental health positive of things. Nope, nope, not a bit. Nope. Um, and apparently the plant in question is in the local lore meant to bring someone mad back to sanity. Uh, yeah. What was it? It has taken me years to start grasping that I, Huma, shared and began to recognize the insanity of my delusion. You know, the delusion that was her perception of reality, I guess? It's like, how? There's so much wrong with this thing, honestly. Ah, okay. And then, like, we go from a plant that's telling her to uh throw away the delusions of whatever, and then um decides to characterize said plant as this ancient plant being that she's trying to have a conversation with as quirky and benevolent. So that's fun. But the number of times that I've heard her say quirky in this very much fits with the I'm not like other girls because the plants talk to me thing. So, just saying. I'm. Mmm. Harsh, but accurate. Oh, Oh, the shade. But yes. Yes, the delusion that she's actually using scientific methods to do any of this. Uh, so there's that. Uh, but there's a whole section in here where it's just like you're making stupid jokes when people are asking her stuff, and just like in the notes, right? I just wrote, Monica, why are you such a pain? Like, seriously, she's complaining constantly that no one's taking her seriously. That, like, no one sees the value in her research. No one's no one's taking everything that she's doing at face value, and it's so annoying because all the research is amazing, and the plants told her to do things, so therefore she did, so therefore she deserves to be published, and whatever else, yada yada yada. But, like, constantly brushes off any kind of question that any of her um colleagues have about the research, and answer them with like jokes and riddles and stuff, and generally doesn't seem to give much of any kind of a care when people actually express interest in a project and are trying to learn about it. Like, seriously. The the only real positive that I can see from the experiment itself is that she finally, for the first time in like the 3 experiments detailed, actually used a control group. For once. Yes. And the super duper extra salty bit, right? I realized that it was probably the aim, in here. But for much of the chapter, it reads like an unedited journal entry where she's waxing poetic about the multi-dimensionality and metaphysical constructs of liminal humanity in the universe, but like with a whole extra thesaurus dumped into it, because big words mean smart. Basically, this right here, like the preceding chapters, like it's reminded me of 19-year-old me with like an interest in culture and things, but like no actual experience in a non-American sort of scenario, right? But this chapter right here just reminds me of my unedited stream of consciousness essays that I wrote in high school at 3 a.m., like the night before they were due, with like a whole lot of existential angst thrown into it, because I was like in high school. So yeah, somehow she managed to turn what could have been an interesting existential discussion, because those are engaging, into a a post that has like into a chapter that has like r/I am 14 and this is deep kind of energy. Cause like seriously. Hey Flat Wabbit, how you doing? We are currently roasting The Smoke the Plant, chapter 5. Or what? Chapter G, is that it? Yeah. Seriously, the formatting, the content, the stupid chapter numbering system, all of this. All of this. Like, seriously, like, uh, yeah, so, oh, it is. It is. It is. This chapter is basically, my 14-year-old self having an existential crisis at 3 a.m. But, like, it's written by someone who's a professor at 3 different Australian universities simultaneously. Oh my god. Like, seriously, it's bad enough that, um, we're not going to do the last 3 chapters on stream. We're going to, where's it? So next week we're transforming. We're transitioning over to writing Sweetgrass. But depending on how long it takes me to get through there, because I need to finish reading it for the review process anyway. Next week, the next couple of weeks, however long it takes to finish the thing, I'm just gonna have like a couple of minutes at the start of it to recap the most ranty parts of the chapters, because I know there's gonna be at least 2 per thing. So there we go. Basically, yeah, it. I don't know if you were in the chat yet or not, but like the description that I wrote out when I was going through it was basically like, it reminds me of my unedited stream of consciousness essays that I wrote in high school at 3 a.m. the night before it was due. That has very much, I am 14 and this is deep kind of energy. So, if that paints a picture at all. Alright, I'm gonna mute the mic for a sec, gotta blow my nose. Especially when the mic's right there now, so. Yeah. Basically. I mean, it's light enough and it's flexible enough that it makes a good surface to whack yourself in the head. So there's that. Uh, it's got a sturdy enough spine that it keeps everything where it needs to be. It does fit the parameters of being a book. It's got pages. This thing is totally getting a 1 star, honestly. I just, like, oh my god. Why? Oh god. But yeah, seriously, like, there's this whole thing, right, where she's doing the experiments and is trying to get, excuse me, trying, I mean, it accurate, but the lowest that you can rate something and actually be able to post a review on Goodreads is 1 star. If it's on Amazon, I think there's a half-star option, but that's about it. So there we go. Like, I'll give it a caveat of like, I would give it -5, but yeah. Oh, seriously, it's so bad. It's so bad. But like, honestly, like, it just spends however long trying to do this experiment, the Pavloving a bunch of plants to respond to a fan lightly blowing on them like they would sun, because sun is the food source mechanism, kinda, sorta. Um, eh, I think it was a bit less than that on Amazon. I want to say it was like 15 or something, but this freaking thing was $18. Or 24 if you're in Canada. That being said, though, interestingly, right? Um, okay, so, it's gonna go up in the next couple of days, but I did a review on some kids' books, and we've got this one that's super duper awesome sauce, and is $8, which not mad at. It's got some seriously awesome. Uh, exactly, exactly. Like, I'm okay with spending a couple of strawberry ice cream slushies on this guy, but like, this thing, no. Just no. And then there's this that I hadn't I hadn't realized was written by like a quote unquote famous author, because Joanna Gaines is part of the like fixer upper scene in Texas and on TV and stuff. I can't remember what show she was a part of, but wrote a book. It's considerably not as good as this one, right? I happen to get my copy at Marshall's for $8, but it's usually 20. Like, really? Oh yeah. Yeah, I haven't actually. Ooh, that would be a thing. I think I remember trying to read The Velveteen Rabbit when I was like 5 or something, and got freaked out. Partially, I'm sure, because of the Scarlet Fever aspect of it. Because, like, Tiny Rin was very much the kid who got sick from everything. So That's probably why. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Had not registered that until just now, but that's I'm thinking to add that to the list of things to read for stuff. So there's that. Anyway, so she went through this whole experiment, right? With peas that are very photoreactive. They're they're very phototropic. So they go towards a light source. That's what they do. That's what they've always done. How did she seriously do an entire experiment with pea seedlings and not remember that they're highly phototropic? To the point that she's like, oh my god, how was I so stupid as to question the knowledge of the plants that told me to do this thing? Oh my god. Like, really. There's a whole page of her just doing that in here. like they naturally grow towards the last available light source and respond to things that emulate said light source and whatever. Like, peas have been extensively studied for hundreds of years with massive amounts of data written about them. Like, really. There's a quote in there like, how could I have missed this and then suddenly have seen the very thing I was testing for? Like, it's not rocket science, Monica. Like, you left the room for a bit, had a chill, had some food, took a walk around the place, and then came back in and looked at it. Like, that's very that's the definition of look at it with fresh eyes. Like, that's, you know? Come on. Okay. Um, and then she's honestly, she is so dramatic about this. Honestly, what is? Uh, hmm. Right. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, she goes on for 3 pages about how could she be so stupid as to question the intelligence of the plants that told her to do things when she was tripping balls in the forest and having an existential crisis about, like, just, like, why? Oh, Basically, yeah. Basically, yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, it's like, there's some things, right? They, I'm just gonna say, okay? I should not have this much fodder for no idea. I should not have this much fodder for endless rants in a book that cover to cover is under 200 pages. Alright? Like, including all the author's notes and end credits and index and whatever and footnotes. It's 161 pages. Like, what the hell is this? No. I don't know. I mean, they they seem to have commissioned art to go along with the chapters that have nothing to do with the chapters. So like, I mean, the line art's kind of cool, just as its own thing, but it's just there. The formatting is completely whack, and it makes no sense. And okay, we've got a little bit left on here, and then we can just kind of continue on. However, so the last, what was it? The last 2-3 pages are basically uh talking about control, shall we say. So, quote, "We have no control over the circumstances that face us until we surrender the need to control them. As long as we need to control our circumstances, we also need to feel unsafe and insecure about them." Like, that's not how it works, okay? Just, no. it's, it, mm. The need, the need to control your environment enough that you feel safe and secure does not mean that you need to feel unsafe to no. Like, seriously, there's a difference between taking a breath and just like relaxing and analyzing why you're having an anxiety situation and deconstructing it to like mitigate whatever situation you're dealing with, and saying, quote, "You feel unsafe because you're trying to control things." No. It's like, it, it just, it ends, oh, it ends on, and this is paraphrasing, but "There was never a maze, we were just trapped in the confines of our own minds." Like, really? Really? No. Just, no. So, stupid thing. Oh, man. And just, even, right, okay. Even if you don't know plants, if you don't know any kind of, like, ethnography, any of that, seriously, Seriously. That. Stupid AA gaslighter shenanigans right there. It's like, what even is this? And I realize that there's some part of a community that gets gifted books or something with the expectation that they're gonna do a review or whatever. But there's a lot of like 4 and 5 star reviews for this thing. And I have no idea why. Like, at all. Obviously. But seriously, like how? How it it looks like such a nice book, right? It's a nice aesthetically pleasing cover with the plants and everything, and it's billing itself as being like all scientific like and stuff, and it's like this right here, right? This is basically trying to do 5 different things and failing in all of them multiple times in all of the ways, to the point that all the friends surrounding them are like, dude, you might want to just, can you stop? Can we not do whatever this is? Because, like, you're being a hot mess. No. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. And there seems to be a lot of overlap between that and the essential oils instead of vaccines. And not everybody, I realize that's, generalization and stuff, but like there's a lot of overlap. Just saying. And the uh the camp of people that seem to think that because something's natural, it's good for you. So like there's there's some elements of character development where like she actually knows what's in the hallucinogen that she's drinking this time. So there's that. Um that's about it. That's all I got. Like, why? Ah, seriously. Oh man. Like, okay, one sec. Where is this published? Yeah. Published by North Atlantic. Is it? Yeah, North Atlantic Books, based out of Berkeley. Exactly. Exactly. It's like just a nice cocktail of like excessive gamma rays, some like, arsenic, that sort of thing. I mean, honestly, like this right here, this book just continually reminds me of like the stories from, I forget what era it was. It was either Edwardian or Victorian England, where they found a really cool green dye and then decided to use it on everything because obviously. So it was on like it was used to dye fabric and dye like buttercream for cakes and whatever, and then people kept dying and they realized, oh yeah, it's kind of toxic. Maybe don't eat that. Oh, it's giving you skin conditions? Yeah, yeah. You probably shouldn't wear that either. Yeah, yeah, the arsenic green thing. Oh man. So, oh god. So, yeah, aside from a bit of ranting at the start of the next round, next week, and the final video when I fully eviscerate this thing all over the interwebs. um, we're switching to braiding sweetgrass. Like, seriously, after this one being, like, all up in your face with big text and like, this one's so understated. Like, I like it. It's just, like, it's A, it's a considerably thicker book. But B, there's just something kind of poetic, right? Where, like, this one is so heavy, like, it's densely packed with information versus this thing that, like, it feels like I'm not holding much past the magazine. Comparatively. Ah. Oh god. So basically, yeah. I didn't know that this one existed last year when I ordered this guy. Uh, basically, I wanted to get books that were talking about plants and gardening and farming and stuff from exactly precisely. I wanted to get some books that were talking about plants and ecology and um economic botany and everything like that from the perspective of BIPOC authors, or at least working with uh, indigenous cultures, which is what I thought this freaking thing was, and it's not in any capacity. So, like, that's just adding to the aggravation and general assault level happening. This, however, is recommended by friends who do a lot of work with like environmental restoration and stuff. It's written by a member of the Citizen Powhatan Nation, someone who is a scientist, an indigenous woman, and a teacher of plant things, right? And it looks like it's a collection of essays that is, oh yeah. I don't know what it says, that I'm so over the stupid shenanigans happening in this one that just flipping through this, having it be like a consistent layout for the pages is just like, yes, I would like to read this now, please. Like, when your standards are so low that it's just like, ah, yes, this looks good. uh that works, yeah. Potawatomi sounds. I mean, it sounds better than what I came up with, so there's that. It's one of those that will do that. Also, she wrote Gathering Moss, which looks like a cool one. So we'll see on that one. Alright, I'm just gonna say, right, when you have a quote saying how awesome your book is from Jane Goodall, I'm gonna say, uh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. On that one, yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, and quotes from like other indigenous leaders, and yeah. So good things with this. So each of the sections is there's like a main section header and then individual chapters or individual essays within the chapter, shall we say. So for next week, we're reading the first section. So the first section would be planting sweetgrass, and that includes Sky Woman Falling, the Council of Pecans, the Gift of Strawberries, an Offering, Asters and Goldenrod, and learning the grammar of animacy. So, we'll see what we've got on that one. Wait. And each of the essays is about 10 pages, give or take. So the current trajectory is to do one section per week. So it'd be 5 weeks on this one, which is not too bad. And this one, I believe, because I got this one from Abe Books, and it was like $15.50, I think. But it's marked at 18. I think I've seen them on Amazon for 18. So just depends on where you want to get them. I believe there's also a Kindle version, and there's audio. There we go. Audiobook version somewhere too. But yeah. So anyway,